This time of year can get quite hysterical around the Christmas time, but it isn't all about Christmas. We should be celebrating every single day, not scrunching it all up into Christmas, birthdays, anniversaries, okay? The majority of religions celebrate around about this time of year because it is the solstice. It's the end of the longest, darkest night, stepping into new light, into the new year. And actually, we've got no idea when Christ was born. It wasn't written in any of the Gospels, and it isn't in his historical papers. The Orthodox celebrated on the 6th or the 7th, and people in the West celebrated on the 25th. So when is Christmas? Okay, the 25th was decided in the West by Pope Pius so that he could stamp his mark on the pagan tradition of Yule, which is on the solstice, which is around about the 21st or 22nd. Okay, so Christmas in itself, meh, but we celebrate. But the thing is, a lot of us recognise the fact that we're going to get thrown together with people that we haven't seen for a whole flipping year. And the reason being because last year it was flipping murder. So what I'm going to do is give you tips and tricks and hacks. And if you're not celebrating Christmas, these tips and tricks and hacks will help in any setting. So if you've got to go off to a family birthday party and there's a lot of people there that you're not necessarily going to like or get on with, use these tips and tricks to help you in that situation. But I'm going to use the word Christmas and you just substitute it for whatever it is that you need. So the first thing is have a look at what it is that you actually want to get out of Christmas. And I'm not talking about your present. I'm talking about what you want to get out of Christmas. Okay. And make sure you're aware of what you want to get out of Christmas. Where is it that you're likely to be dishonouring yourself, where you're going to be people pleasing and giving yourself away, putting yourself at the bottom of the pecking order just to keep the peace and look after everybody else? What is the cost to yourself for doing that? Because if you're propping up Auntie Maud in the corner who's like, oh, well, the whole world's horrible to me, blah, 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 and you're trying to help, and what about this, and have a go at this, that, and the other. Oh, well, no, you just don't understand. That type of conversation, we understand it. We are giving a lot of energy away to Auntie Maud, and we're also using a lot of energy on ourselves to keep ourselves safe in that situation. That's energy that you don't need to spend. And if you think about energy as a money box, which is full of coins, you've got £100 a day, for instance, and if you're giving 25 of that to Auntie Maud because she's all, and then you're giving 25 pounds of that to you to keep yourself safe, then you've only got 50 quid left. Okay, so be aware of where you're spending your energy, because that energy is yours. It's not for you to give it away. Sometimes we have no choice. We have to be around people that we don't particularly want to be around. So if that is the case and you know that you've got to go to a function, it's like, don't want to go, but okay. Firstly, set an agenda. So, for instance, I'm going to go for Christmas lunch. I'm going to give X, Y, and Z my Christmas presents. I'm going to have one glass of wine. I'm going to sit down, have dinner. I'm going to have a conversation. I'm going to help with the washing up, and then I'm going to go. That's you setting your agenda. And you must honour yourself and stay with your agenda. Now, what happens there is, firstly, the little kids inside you, those little parts of you that are never quite healed from the wounds that were inflicted on them as kids, because none of us have got perfect parents. So those triggers are very, very close to the surface around family. So those little parts of you, if they can hear that you already have a plan, they will calm down. Your subconscious will calm down because it's not having to overthink. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? What about... If you make an agenda, you set an agenda, your subconscious will calm down. And then as a consequence, your nervous system will calm down and you will be more relaxed in that setting. And the other thing is, and I'm going to say it again, you must keep your own promise. You keep your promise to yourself. Now, the second thing is, if there is drama, make a promise to yourself not to be part of it, not to be in that drama. Okay, now, if it's a family setting, it's a beautiful gift to have when you see drama kick off around you, because you see the patterns of your family playing out. And if you're sitting back as the observer, you can start to see where some of your beliefs and some of your own patterns and some of your own negative feelings about yourself come in, because it's part of the family fabric. It's the way the family operates. So look at it as a gift, and the triggers that come up, take a breath. So your Uncle Bert turns around and says, oh, well, you're always bloody stupid about what he says that would normally trigger you. Feel the trigger, but let go of the response. Let go of trying to put him back in his place, disagreeing with him, justifying yourself. Just sit back and watch. Give yourself some breathing space. Viktor Frankl says in the book Man's Search for Meaning is between the stimulus and the response is where the freedom lies. So when you get triggered, take a breath, sit back, watch. Now, I'm going to go into this in a little bit more detail in a sec, but one thing I do want to point out, alcohol. We do like to celebrate. We do like to have a bevy around Christmas. That's absolutely fine. I'm not saying don't do it. But if you do need to drink and you do want to celebrate, do it around people where you are totally able to be yourself with, not around people who are likely to poke you and prod you and trip you up and snipe at you and play games as such, okay? Make sure if you're going to celebrate and you're going to have a few bevies that you are with people who absolutely and utterly accept you as you are. So keep the alcohol to a minimum. That doesn't stop other people drinking. So what could well happen, and I know it's happened to me many a time, is you get cornered by your drunk Uncle Bert who's insistent on going on and on and on about X, Y, and Z and it's so flipping boring, and you can't argue with him and you can't talk to him because he's too drunk to rationalise, and actually, to be honest, he's a pain in the ass. Get away, okay? No, you don't have to be impolite, but I hear what you're saying, understand, I'm going to give it some thought, and you get up, you physically move yourself, go to the loo, go into the kitchen, help with the washing up, get out into the garden, and if it's really feeling horrible, then you move, you leave, you go home. The other side of it is you could end up getting collared by somebody, and we all know people like this, nothing to do with alcohol, where they get stuck in one groove. They want to have an argument, but they cannot see any other aspect about whatever they're arguing about apart from theirs. So can you hear that's wasted energy if you try and put your point over, because they're going to argue with you, and then you try another point and they're going to argue with you. So to play with somebody like that, you do what I call ping pong. That's interesting. What makes you think that? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, where did you get that information from? Right, I hear what you're saying about that. How does that make you feel? So can you hear what I'm saying is you ask questions back. You don't get involved at all. You just keep asking them. You don't put any of yourself in that setting at all. Okay, so did you read about that? Oh, right, that's interesting. Who is the author? Oh, right, okay. So how long have you felt that way? What brought this belief into your frame? So again, you're not saying anything about you, but you're pushing back to that person. So that person who's stuck in his groove now has to actually think and justify for himself how and why he is so stuck in this groove. Now, what will happen is eventually they will shut up, because they're not getting the energy from you or anybody else that they are really begging for, because they want to press your buttons, they want to row, they want to stand in their corner and state their case and not be moved, okay? So do the ping pong. And the other side of it is, if that gets really bad, do exactly the same thing as you would do with a drunk person and get up, go and help with the washing up, get up, go to the loo, go into the garden. Oh, I hear what you're saying. I'll give it some thought. Move yourself. Physically move yourself. And what you're doing is you're breaking the energy circuit that's building up around that. And if you're there and you can start to feel yourself becoming uncomfortable and you've filled your agenda, you've had your one glass of wine, you've had your dinner, you've opened your presents, you've helped with the washing up a little bit, get up and go, leave. But you don't do it in a flounce, you don't do it in a huff, you don't do it in anything, you just Gotta go now. See you soon. Happy New Year, lovely Christmas Day, whatever it is, and just move. And that is how you keep your sanity during Christmas. And it doesn't have to be during Christmas. These are little life hacks that you use when you are in company where things aren't that easy. Okay, so listen. Everybody have a beautiful Yuletide, and I'll speak to you very soon, probably before Christmas.